An aggressive move coming through the tri-oval, and it actually moved his teammate Bobby Gerhardt out of the way.
Three wide racing. That's Ken Butler the third, the 22 on the outside.
Gabby DiCarlo and Brian Scott had problems right in front of them. We see the car turned around. That's the 7 of Kyle Krisolov. He was running second before he got spun around. Oh, and problems continuing on the racetrack.
Yeah, that's Brian Silas right there. Some hard contact.
Okay, will you tell me again if my glass is half full or half empty?
I think I'm going to go with half empty on that, Ken. Now, we saw him sideways, and again, he was running second. We're going to be taking another look and see if there was something that to look at what took place.
We saw Gabby DiCarlo getting a little bit loose here. He had the 75 of Brian Scott behind her, and then we saw the smoke up ahead of these guys. And then they all try to take some evasive action. The 75 of Brian Scott turns around. He collects, looked like the 4-car Taylor Malsom. There's the 39, the 09, the 44 Frank Kimmel sliding through the infield.
There's the 7. We see him checked up way back there, and we believe he had a lot to do with what took place behind him.
Yeah, a lot of damage to Mario Gosselin's car. Here's another view. This is a little bit closer to the front. You saw just left of your screen was the 2 of Scott Speed. We know he got considerable damage in this incident. There's a little bit of contact between Brian Scott, and then he made a little contact with that 32 car. That's Dominic Casola. There's Taylor Malsom got into the 75 of Brian Scott.
And everyone checking up, not only because of what was going on with Brian Scott, but also the front of the field. And here's a good look at now the 7. Again, the 7 moves up the racetrack and then tries to come back down, but there wasn't room.
It just comes back down, and Justin Marks had already committed to that part of the racetrack, and then he slid back up the racetrack, caught the 2 of Scott Speed. There's another view. Watch, he's going to come back down and try to get in that hole that's not there. Then you see Matt Carter runs in the back of the 65 of Justin Marks. Bobby Gerhardt does a great job. Michael Annette does a great job avoiding this, and everybody else, it seems like, is involved. Frank Kimmel, that white car spinning down through the middle of the racetrack. He spins in between 2 or 3 cars. Here comes Ricky Stenhouse right at his front end. Frank's going to slide out of the way of him. Just havoc all over the racetrack.
Seems like we always talk about the big one when we talk about restrictor plate racing, and this one started at the front and at the middle almost simultaneously.
Matt Carter did a real good job there.
Yeah, he really did. Yeah. Even though he made contact with Justin Marks, it could have been a whole lot worse. And then you could see those guys get back in the throttle to get by before Kyle Krisolov came back up the racetrack.
See some hard hitting there. That's Mario Gosselin in the 21 that we saw, and then you saw Scott Speed running along the top there. Another contact there, and a very big hit. That's a pretty tough camera, by the way, too.
Yeah, 72 of Dwayne Bryan was in that initially. There's the 30 of Terry Jones coming towards the back of Mario Gosselin's car. Now here's Frank Kimmel. This is going to be an interesting ride. He sees the smoke. He's off the throttle.
Car sliding in front of him. Brian Scott comes back up the racetrack. He avoids it, but does get tagged just a bit.
I think Frank is going to have minimal damage, so he's going to, he was riding around with the tail end of this pack, and he's going to emerge with some good fortune for sure. There's Brian Silas right here, his onboard camera. He's right behind Patrick Sheltra. He's trying to get slowed down. Now car's cleaning off the bank. Ooh,
there was the contact with Mario Gosselin again.
Emerged from the smoke, and then Mario Gosselin was right there, unfortunately. There's cars right in front of them, still crashing, and then
got contact again, and then more damage. And silence.
Yeah.